Hi guys, we're here in S-Bank today with Natalie from Chapter 1. Natalie, tell us a little bit about Chapter 1.
So we have got 3 salons. We have got our first salon down in Grange, this is our second salon, and we've got one in Haddington. We've been in business now for 8 years, and it's myself and my business partner Paul.
Brilliant, let's go inside and meet Paul.
Hi everyone, welcome to our first video in the behind the scenes series. I'm joined here today in the S-Bank salon with Ellie, who's going to show us some hair tutorials. One of the questions that we get asked all the time is
how to curl your hair at home.
So I'm going to leave you with Ellie, who's going to show us some hints and tips.
So guys, prep is so important when it comes to curling your hair. For me, I've got pretty frizzy hair, so I like to use a nourishing shampoo and conditioner and an oil. But don't worry, I'm going to talk about frizz in a whole nother video. So when we start, I like to make sure that I've got my hair sectioned right down the middle. And then what I'm going to do is just go from about the middle of my ear all the way along to I feel the back of the section. And then we'll just clip this up out the way. So we're going to forget about this whole other side just now, and we're going to focus on this side first. So to start off with, if you want your curl to be a bit more loose, a bit more wavy, you can take this whole section if you want to. But for me, I'm going to just split that in half. This will mean that your curl is going to be that little bit more on the tight side. So I'm going to take my curler, my iron, and then I'm going to go straight in, pop it in, pull down a little bit, give it a little bit of a twist, and keep pulling. Now the trick is to make sure that you're continuously moving the iron. You don't want to keep it still for too long, because what that's going to do is going to create marks in your hair. It might just go too straight. And then we've got that nice wave.
So Ellie, just to explain to people at home, the faster you move the iron,
the more wavy it's going to be. So if you were to go quite slow,
the curl would be tighter.
It'd be a lot tighter, yeah. You can see just how tight that is compared to these other ones.
Yeah.
So I always would leave these in, just a little bit here. I would always just leave these. I wouldn't play with them too much because you want them to set before you do anything else. We'll dress them out at the end. So I'm just going to take my next section now. Again, you don't want anything too big, so this time I'm just going just above at my eyebrow level there. So I'm going to start again with my irons facing down, and I'm going away for the face. So you're turning it right away from your face and then you're coming down again. So having them all away from your face, what I tend to do is with this side, I'll keep these all going the same direction. And with the other side, I'll go in the same direction but the other way.
So just to explain that a wee bit more, what do you mean, Ellie?
So this is going to give me more of a soft, maybe like a Hollywood kind of glam wave. If I was to do them in different directions, you would get something a little bit beachier, a little bit more texture going through, whereas this is just keeping it a little bit more on the smooth, sleek side.
Yeah. What advice would you give to anyone if they're struggling with their technique?
So if you're struggling with your technique, what to do is try it with the irons off. If you go over your hair too many times when the iron's on, and if you're not getting your curl right, you just need to leave that bit and come back to it, because if you go over it too many times, it's just going to go straight and it's not going to curl. So if you're struggling, try it with the irons off, get your technique right, and then you can go into it when the irons are back on. Right, let's do this next section. So you can see it's super easy. I'm not taking loads of sections. It's not so difficult to do. I see, I'm a professional hairdresser. Okay, on my ends, I'm just going to give it that little bit of an extra turn. And what that's going to do is just make sure that they're nice and rounded. Okay, last section, guys. So on this top section, I always like to make sure that I've got it super smooth. For me, this is my problem area. So I'm going to go in with the irons and just give it a quick little smooth at the top. I'm not going too far down, it's just this top section, a little tap. And that's just going to keep any frizz or puffiness at bay. And then just the same technique. Just giving it a twist and pulling down.
So Ellie, what would you say if anyone wants to have volume in their root?
If you want to have a little bit of volume in your root, what I would do, so see how this bit has went a little bit too straight on the end? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that bit until I've finished this side, and then we'll go over that again in just a second. So if you wanted to have a little bit more volume in your root, what I would do is take my section and lift while I'm curling. So I would lift it up like that. Rather than pulling down, because when you're pulling down you're going to straighten it, not straighten it, but straighten the curl a little bit. So if you're pulling it out like this, it's going to be a lot bouncier. Okay, so we've got to the front piece. Now this is your face frame piece, the most important piece. So I'm going to smooth this over again, and then just coming in, and I'm just going to pull this piece forward. And that's just giving me that really nice swoop towards the front. So this little back piece here, come back to this. Okay, so that's one side done. I'm going to move on to the other side, and then I'll come back to you when I get to the top beam. Okay, so this is my last section now. So what we're doing for this side, just making sure that you have the technique right again. We're going in and away from the face again. This is always my funny side because I'm right-handed, so it's a bit harder, but we'll get there. Okay, again, away from your face, and I'm just gonna pull this out the way again, something really soft. You don't want to go in too high with this curl either, you just want it to be nice and sweeping and soft around your face, unless you want to. Don't want to be too curly soft, but...
So Ellie, is there a reason why you pull it out the way rather than down the way when it comes to the front section?
Yeah, so that just kind of, for me, makes it that little bit less tight, a little bit softer, and I just prefer the way that it sits around the face. What I'm going to do next, so the next part, I'm going to be dressing it out. This is super important. I like to go in with the instant deflating serum. It's just going to keep my puffiness at bay. So put one pump of any oil through. So first I'm going to keep the curls as they are, and then what I'm going to do is drag my fingers through them, but I just like to put the oil through first. So for me, this is cool if I'm just like to get dressed up to sit about the house, but if I was going to go out or have a drink on a Saturday night in the living room right now, what I would do is I would take my paddle brush and just a wee bit of hairspray. I don't want to feel too, you don't want to put on too much hairspray. Sometimes it can maybe feel a bit sticky if you're not using it right. What I do first off is I'll spray my brush with a little bit of hairspray and then just brush through the curls. There we go, and like I say, this is just more of like a glam sort of wave. And then what I'll do is I can even spray my hands with a little bit of hairspray just to get those front pieces sitting how I like them. There we go guys, so I hope you've taken away some information from that and have fun curling your hair at home.
Well done Ellie, that looks absolutely amazing. I hope everyone watching took a lot from it, and thanks for watching our first video on the behind the scenes series, and keep your eye out for more to follow.